So are you ready to continue learning? Let's go. So we just learned how to increase our stitches. Now we're going to learn how to decrease our stitches. It can be a little different when you're working in rows or when you're working in rounds. In rows, there's a basic decrease. In rounds, there is an invisible decrease. And of course, I'm going to show both of them to you today. So we're going to start with rows. I have gone ahead and I've made a starting foundation of 16 stitches. And what I'm going to do is, now that we are at the end of the row, we're going to chain one and we're going to turn. Now we're increasing, you're putting 2 stitches into the same stitch. Decreasing, you are working across 2 stitches to make them 1 stitch. And it's a little different between the single, the half double, and the double crochet and how you do this. So we're going to start with the single crochet and then I'll show you how each one is worked individually. But so here we go. We're going to work back across this foundation and we're going to decrease across the entire length of it. Now, to do a basic decrease, you are going to insert your hook into that first stitch of your row and you're going to pull up a new loop. Now from here, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch of the same row, and you're also going to pull up a new loop, and that'll give you 3 loops on your hook. From there, you're just going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops, and that gives you your first decrease. And you can see this was the first stitch, this was the second stitch, but now we have 1 single stitch remaining from that decrease. So again, that is insert your hook into the next stitch of your row, yarn over and pull up a new loop, and then again insert your hook into the next stitch of your row, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops remaining on your hook. And now we have decreased 2 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish across this row and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I've made it across. I've got the last 2 stitches, so I'm going to do my final decrease. Now this is kind of curling on me because we're curving it because we're decreasing so quickly. But you can see we've gone from 16 stitches to start, and now by the time you make it to the end, you should have 8 stitches remaining now that you've decreased across. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is how to do a general single crochet decrease. Now with a half double crochet decrease, just like when you're working the half double, it's got that 1 extra step. So I want you to chain 1 and turn your work. To do a half double crochet decrease, just like the half double, you are going to yarn over your hook and then insert it into the next stitch and pull up a new loop. And then again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a new loop. So you should have 5 loops on your hook. And then from here, yarn over and pull through all 5 of those loops. And there's your first half double crochet decrease. Again, that was yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a new loop. So you've got 3 loops, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 5, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 of those, or all 5 of those loops. And that's how you do a half double crochet decrease. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish off this row, and that should give us 4 stitches because we decreased evenly across from 8. So now we should have, come on, Mr. Yarn. Okay. See, and you can see it's starting to bunch and get really tight and small, but now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, again, the double crochet decrease is still just as easy, just another extra steps. So go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. Just like the half double, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into that first stitch, yarn over and pull up a new loop. Now here's the difference with the double crochet decrease is you are going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those first 2 loops on your hook. So you should have 2 loops remaining on your hook. Now you yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch of your row, yarn over, pull up a new loop. So you should have 4. Then I want you to yarn over, pull through only 2 loops on your hook. So you have 3 remaining. And then lastly, yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops on your hook. Doing it this way, you keep that double crochet stitch look, but you still end up with 1 stitch remaining. So one more time, because I've only got 2 stitches left. To do a double crochet decrease, it's yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a new loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, or in this case, it would be the last stitch of the row, if I can get my hook through it. There we go. Yarn over, pull up a new loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And there you have finished a double crochet decrease. So you can see the height is different between each of them. At the bottom here, we've got our single crochet decrease. And then the next row, we've got our double or our half double crochet decrease. And then lastly, we've got these 2 double crochet decreases. It's fairly simple, but you can see the massive change that it brings in your work. So we started off with a straight line, but obviously as we decreased, we got this weird curvy situation going on. And that's what decreasing does. It makes your work smaller versus increasing, making your work larger. Now, the other thing I want you to know is when working in the round, like I said, there is an invisible decrease. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Now, the invisible, it only works, and the reason I say it only really works in the round is because with the invisible decrease, you are only using the front loop. So when working in the round, it hides that open back loop inside of your work. If you were to use the invisible decrease working around in rows, you would see that open back loop, and you don't want that. So I'm going to show you how to do the invisible decrease. So here I have a piece that I worked in the round. I have 4 rows and 24 stitches around. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this smaller instead of larger. And just as easy as it is working in rows, working in rounds, it's still pretty simple. Now from here, because I kind of want to work this round, to decrease, what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet 2 to keep with my multiple of 6. Just like increasing, decreasing, you want to keep it nice and even and decrease evenly as you did your increases. So like I said, so for this row, we have 24 stitches and we want to go down to 18. So it's single crochet 2 and then decrease. So I've got my 2 single crochets, and now we're gonna do the invisible decrease. This has got a kind of a couple more steps, but nothing crazy. You want to insert your hook into the front loop only of the next stitch, and then you're gonna wanna kind of do a little twisty thingy with your hook, and you're gonna insert your hook into the next stitch again in the front loop only. So you've picked up both of the front loops of the next 2 stitches of your round. Then you're gonna yarn over and you're gonna pull that through both of those front loops, and then you're gonna yarn over and finish as if you were working a regular single crochet stitch. So there we have my 2 and then my invisible decrease, and it gives us 3 stitches. So one more time for this round, it's single crochet 2 And then to do the invisible decrease, you go through the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2, a yarn over. You're gonna pull up a new loop. You still have 2 hooks on, or 2 loops on your hook. And you're gonna yarn over and you're gonna pull through both of those loops. Now the reason I prefer the invisible decrease when working in the round like this is because it is a much cleaner, it's harder to see versus a basic decrease that I showed you earlier. So, and I will show you the difference now. So here we have single crochet, and we have an invisible decrease. But when you look between, so you got 2 single crochets on this side and 2 on this side, that invisible decrease right there blends right in. So unless you're really looking for it, you don't really see it. Now, if I were to continue and do a basic decrease, so that's 2 singles. Now, if I were to do a basic decrease where it's insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3, it's pretty obvious that there's a decrease right there. Let me do 2 single crochets so you can see the difference. So we've got our invisible decrease is right here. Like I said, it's in line, it's very clean, you can't really see it. And we're gonna keep going, single crochet, bam. That chunky looking thing right there is a decrease. And it's not as clean, it's not as in line, because it does look kind of bulky, like I could shove my hook right through that, because it's just chunky. And it doesn't look as neat, especially when it comes to working in the round like this. The invisible decrease is definitely the way to go. But beyond that, I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. Stick around, make sure you subscribe. In the description, you will also find the written instructions, or the written way of how to decrease your stitches. I will have it broken down for each of the basic decreases for the single, the half double, and the double, along with the instructions on how to do the invisible decrease as well. But beyond that, you are set and on your way to continue learning how to do some great things. Bye.